According to Stephen Fry, a true thing poorly expressed is a lie. It's the idea that your thoughts are influenced by the language they use. Yes, it affects your perspective on everything. The concept is that no matter how profound it seems to you, it doesn't truly exist until it can be expressed in writing or, in certain situations, captured on video. There can be no thought without expression, no substance without form. Observing Denis Villeneuve's debut is witnessing a filmmaker who is fluent in the language. His concepts assume that he has a solid understanding of craft. As a moviegoer, I can't express how comforting it is to feel that I'm under the care of someone who understands the rationale behind the film's structure. The majority of today's films are so disorganized that the audience has worked hard to watch them, more to make up for a loss of concentration. Arrival, in my opinion, is the ideal reaction to the subpar films. We see a lot of it. Almost everything they do incorrectly, Arrival does correctly, and it has a significant and effective consequence. And it accomplishes this through emphasizing the one thing that influences and affects us. However, Arrival seems to be as interested in the language of cinema as it is in written, spoken, or foreign languages. English, for instance, the opening scenes are rather larger experiment with the Kuleshov effect, which is the phenomena where a viewer interprets two consecutive shots that Hitchcock is renowned for, demonstrated by substituting a single reverse photo to transform a kind man into a pervert. Villeneuve does the same thing in Arrival, but at the scene level. A montage depicting the birth and first scene. In the second scene, Adams arrives to teach at Amy Adams' school on the day of the aliens' arrival, following the young death of her daughter. We assume that the film's timeline is linear because of the tragedy we see in the first scene. Adams's lack of curiosity is read here as despair, and her generally arid manner as a sign of intense melancholy and heartbreak. Not until the movie is over and we discover that the opening montage takes place after the events, that Adams in the second scene was nothing more than a blank canvas to which we gave meaning. The term montage refers to the arrangement of film segments that move quickly one after the other in front of the viewer. Generate a concept. Villeneuve stands apart from a lot of other filmmakers because of his capacity to produce concepts with cinematic technique, then combine those concepts, clash, and combine them to produce a higher order of significance. What does Villeneuve's example of the Kuleshov effect experiment entail, for instance? Maybe the future can impact the past? That's undoubtedly a logical conclusion to draw from this type of experience in the movie. In fact, it's a concept that serves as the secret to Arrival's finale, when Adams discovers that higher dimensional entities known as the aliens are able to view everything at once, and utilizes that ability to alter her present by accessing future events. I called you, didn't I? Yes, you did. However, the same experience could also be interpreted in another way, namely that communication is restricted by viewpoint. Everything in the movie indicates to us from the start that Adams is grieving, but until afterward, do we discover that was untrue? Arrival also explores an important theme. The boundaries of human communication are reaffirmed and further explored throughout the movie. The boundaries of our biology of depending on what our senses tell us, the boundaries set by our culture or ourselves' individualities. Believe me, you can comprehend how to communicate and remain unmarried. Communicating with the aliens is essentially envisioned as a screen, a mediator that blurs purpose. Screens have the power to unite us, but they can also separate us, and communication is no exception. Interaction is a connection between two parties. However, it's a link that frequently makes splitting easier. Language is the glue that holds people together and is the foundation of civilization, is the first weapon used during a battle. People, you understand what I mean when I say that we are dozing off at the wheel? I am certain that you do. Here, it is not crucial that these two readings are. They are both true, but they also recur throughout the movie and reinforce one another. A concept that is introduced once isn't wasted. The language of the aliens is circular. Thus, the movie is as well. The challenges of collaboration in the Montana site small group are similar to those between countries. Louise's comprehension of her temporal displacement occurs along with the audience's recognition that the events portrayed are not linear. Non-zero-sum game? Each concept is sifted via other people and moments, and ultimately other themes. Once it begins to feel substantial, you begin to consider the connection between time and language. Perhaps the mind is a process rather than an object, with language occurring in time, much like a movie. Conversation that takes place in real time. Arrival seems to focus a lot on the potential for significance in a movie. What is it? From where does it originate? Villeneuve probably sees it as an extraterrestrial spacecraft. Enigmatic, cryptic, a nonverbal or non-written remark that is always challenging to understand. A sense of boredom with the film's craft, characters, and plot is constantly present. Unavoidably, it is always in the backdrop and visible from many perspectives. Arrival sets an example, so it's not only a rejection of poor films, it's also, in my opinion, an investigation into what makes a great film. It investigates the kind of distinct viewpoint that a movie might impart to its audience, much like a language, alien gifted, and what type of new world that viewpoint lets us see. I appreciate it, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon.